everybody? We are now live because Heshy struggled to get his headphones on. I took
I
the
don't
initiative
know.
and
This
said,
guy keeps
Good
stealing
evening,
my...
everybody. It's the Heshy Tesla show. here
Yeah,
on
no,
Monday
you don't
night.
know how to do that. Welcome, everybody, to another Just Enough Extra show. Hello, everybody. Tom keeps trying to steal my...
Heshy, I would remind you in the wrestling world that my
Yeah.
introductions are a lot more legendary than
Okay,
this.
you got it. But I'm just a regular Brooklyn boy from the streets, and I'm happy
I
to
told
be
you, if
here.
the political thing doesn't work out, listen, you could get a career in wrestling. I can help you get there.
Okay, very nice of you. I love you. Tom is always trying to bust my chops.
Yes, sir.
But I want to welcome all my Instagram fans, all my YouTube and Facebook fans, and in a couple of minutes we'll be introducing our 60,000 to whatever listeners. 100. Who cares? I'm happy I got more than one. I have Nicole there.
Well, maybe the biggest one. Yeah.
We have Tom. Welcome back to the show, and you're looking great as always. You're actually wearing long pants.
It got cold for the first time.
Well,
2
I'm
days ago, I
shocked.
was in shorts.
You wear long pants, and my producer comes in like a T-shirt, like a bum. It's
Well, we are
okay.
getting close to the election. We are getting close.
We
to
are
the
getting
big
close,
victory.
everybody. There is an election. We're going to talk about my election that's coming up. We have a wonderful, beautiful young lady here today, a lawyer, Nicole Suissa. Suissa. Beautiful name. Doesn't make a difference. She's gorgeous, so who cares what name she is? And Nicole, welcome to the show. We're so happy you came. She was even later than me today, so that's great. You know what I mean? I'm not the only late one today.
Listen, I came from Jersey. Where did you come from?
I'm a Brooklyn. You know, I want you to know today. Not only was I in the hospital today, two inspections, and on the way here, I had to go to one of my 122 nieces' engagement party. Besides, I had a bunch of clients, and then people are just walking in thinking I'm councilman. Why didn't I sign the bill? Why didn't I do this? Where's the garbage, the trees? And I'm trying to help people left and right.
Well, constituents today, when I was out there, was saying, "Did Heshy become the councilman?"
I know.
Well, you got to
I
go
know.
vote next Tuesday.
I am
make
running
sure.
for city council, Nicole. They keep cheating, but this time me and Tom have it down pat. We don't know what's going to happen. We're feeling great about it, but our councilman's a bum, and who cares? Today he got an endorsement from a lobbyist who helped get the Iran nuclear deal together. So I told, so I'm hoping that will hurt him, but you never know. Anyways, everybody, welcome to the show. We have a very interesting show. And Nicole, I'm sorry, I have to tell you something. Sure. At the beginning of every show, I tell a joke and a quote. Now, Tom makes believe he laughs. Then he calls me like 2 a.m. and comments, it's not such a great joke. It was a good joke. You could have done
I thought
better.
last week it was funny.
It was funny.
You said I actually laughed.
I couldn't believe it. I
What
mean,
matters is how long you practice the joke.
We've had 4 months.
my
of this
jokes,
now, so we're
my
getting
jokes.
ahead of it.
You got to talk into the mic, but my jokes are about Linda, usually my wife, and the kids hate it and whatever. I have my producers. See, I talk to my producers and people on the show while I'm sitting here. Can you help her with the mic?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, you are. You're great, wonderful. By the way, Nicole is a single mother of a beautiful, gorgeous daughter. Am I
Yes.
correct? How old is she?
She's 8 years old.
Okay, too bad on you. You're in big trouble. I don't really care. I did it too many times, so I'm
I've only done it once.
Sweetie, I have white hair. I color it for $7.95. Linda gives me my $50 allowance, and that's included in the $7.95.
Just for men works, huh?
I know. Oh, it does. It is just for men. It works great. It takes me like about a half an hour. You know what I mean? And then when I mess it up, Linda comes, "Oh, you messed it up. Do it again." I said, "Can you give me another $7.95?" The witch says no. She's really a witch. She flies around. on a
Well,
balloon.
I'm not saying anything on that, Hesh.
All right.
And the call-in number
somebody,
is
I don't know what's he saying over there. Why does he keep
646-974-1580. If you want to talk to Nicole is obviously going to talk about a number of different things, so you can call us anytime, 646-974-1580.
Welcome to all our listeners from
620 WSNR, my personal favorite. Of course, the owner of the station is a big supporter of US Heshy.
Right.
1640 WJPR, can never forget about them, and 93.5 FM WVIP, like the old Pamela Anderson show, VIP. So
Welcome, and we have our guest, Nicole Suissa.
Suissa.
She's going to get me. I got it. And of
See,
course,
like
my,
SSA.
my gorgeous friend, my wonderful, good-looking friend, Tom, who now wants to convert because he saw Nicole and whatever.
Well, we were talking about my mutual fund account, and she might be interested.
Stop it. Anyways, everybody.
Probably set it up for you. That's about all.
I want you to
maybe.
know it was a difficult week for us. People are calling me left and right. They're scared to send their kids to school, going out on the streets, single mothers. People are calling me. I even picked up 2 kids and took them because the mothers were nervous. Do not be scared. You can't be scared. I know that, a bunch of people from Manhattan, they're leftist people, some of them are Jewish, are telling me, well, we're scared. I said, scared of what? You're the ones who did this trouble. You're the ones who vote these people in. Don't be scared. This is America. America America does not attack its own people. And when they do, they go to jail. When they do, they go to jail. We punish them. I know what the other countries are going through. Hey, we had a 9/11 terrorist attack, and we're going to talk about that. But first, I'm going to start the show. Can we do a shout-out?
Absolutely want to say hello to a couple different
Where's
people.
my friend Finkel? How is he feeling?
He's going to call in later today. He's got an idea for you. He is here listening with us. I want to say hello to Josh Bailey. I want to say hello to my mother, who'll be listening later on. I want to say hello also to some of the people in the chat. Johnny C., the pizza guy, who says he's very excited to hear from Nicole Suissa. And he also
good.
says,
Good.
Thank you to Heshy for giving her this opportunity.
I love her already.
Infinite Justice MDV is with us. Also, I want to say hello to Josh Bailey, by the way. Josh Bailey, I'm wondering when he's going to come into the studio, because he doesn't live too far from me.
But where's the one from Chicago that listens to us?
Oh, Yehuda Silver from
Yeah.
Cleveland? Not in here yet,
Okay,
but we'll
right.
say hello to Yehuda.
And,
also, but one more person. I
go
have to
ahead.
say hello to somebody that actually stopped me in the street about 15 minutes ago. One of our listeners stops me and she goes, hey, you're on the Heshy Show. I said, yeah, you got to tune in 9 o'clock, and I promised to give her a shout out. Her name is Sarah. She met you in the past, big listener.
Oh, that's
was
my
talking-
daughter's name.
Yep.
I take pictures and sign autographs for everybody. I don't know why, but they want me and they think I'm important.
And
So
Joey
that's good.
Saban, I promise to say
Joseph,
hello to.
I want to say a shout out to Sergeant Peter. You know that, my
Yes.
favorite sergeant. My gorgeous, beautiful granddaughter, Mira
The
Nava.
best part of the show.
I
I love
know
when
that,
you
you
say
know.
Mira Nava.
Mira Nava, that's her name. I don't know. They found it in some comic book, but it's still beautiful.
Mira is a beautiful name.
Layla Tamar, hello.
good one.
And Ellie, of course, welcome. Thank you for listening. And my beautiful new grandson, Yeshua. I just love him. And well, everyone, I have a new one soon. We're going to start the show right now. But first, I want to give you my quote. And it's a very serious quote because we're going through a tough time. Absolutely. You know, I collected money for Israel. I sent vests over. We collected diapers. People were making fun of me. Let them go buy the diapers. No, they need the diapers there. They need the stuff there. Send whatever we can. We have trucks, trailers. People are willing to help. There's so many organizations out there. They need the physical stuff that they can't get. Money is not always helpful. Try to find stuff. Try to find organization. And this is what it is, kindness. Kindness is giving hope to those who think they are all alone in this world. Kindness is seeing the best in others when they cannot see it in themselves. Kindness is something anyone can give without losing anything themselves. And kindness is not what you do, but who you are. Now, I know I have to be kind to my competitor. I hate you. I hate you, Carmen Yeager. I do. And I hate Ian Vernikova, too.
Well, that one we could certainly agree on.
You know, they came out with a video today. Oh, she's the most accomplished councilwoman. It's not true. Anyways,
The
I want to
least
tell you my
accomplished.
joke. Can I tell you my joke?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Here's the joke. You know, I married this crazy woman 33 years ago. She tricked me, whatever. So she does. She had money. Anyway, so we go to the doctor to do the blood testing. You know what I mean? And anyways, they take the blood from her and they couldn't find it. They were sticking. And they were saying there was a lady here a couple of months ago that we also couldn't find the vein. And Linda says, yeah, that was me. You tortured me back then as well. Okay, but I have a better one. I'm going to say, every week at my Shabbos table, we take people coming in. I've told this to Tom.
Yes.
Every week we have people coming in, 2 people, 5 people, 7 people, whatever. They come this week and usually prepare. We set up the table, and if somebody walks in the last minute, we have another place. And I try to find beds wherever we can. I have a lot of cots. Anyways, my brother calls me right before the Shabbos. We have a bell. The bell rang. It's Shabbos already. Heshy, please, this guy, I just saw him. He's on the street. He's locked out of his apartment. He has nowhere to go. You're the only one. I said, it's not fish. I can't. And I always have enough food. Okay, fine. Send him over. He sends him over. The guy comes up. He says, I'm not religious. I said, okay, no problem. He says, can I smoke? You can't smoke.
On Shabbat?
Yes. I have people that are not religious. So I said, you can't smoke. He says, you know, I just came home from the hospital. Now, I saw the way he was dressed. He didn't even have clothing. He says, I don't have any clothing, but I was 300 pounds, so I gave him one of my old shirts and suits to make him look good. And then he says to me, I didn't bring my medication. I said, what medication? My psychotic medicine. I said, oh, God, he's going to start stabbing us. And I got him a bed, and he ate, and he touched everybody's food. He made everybody crazy. At the end of the meal, I asked him, are you registered to vote? He said, no. I said, get out. I didn't mind him ready to kill us. I didn't mind that he had no clothing.
Smoking like a politician.
Yeah, it's
I will say,
but I let him stay.
that's the better joke.
I let him.
That's
I like Nicole. Nicole, we're going to start our show, everybody, and I want to tell everybody we're going to talk
And
about.
Yehuda's here from Cleveland, by the way.
And I want to ask you also about George Santos. You know that
Yes.
he won the
Oy
thing
vey
about
boy.
that. I want to talk because she's a lawyer. But we're going to start with the basic facts, starting from the bottom. Nicole, and I want to tell you who Nicole is. Forget that she's a single, wonderful, beautiful mother. We need a husband for her. Anybody anybody ready to come.
Do we though?
I'm willing to take anybody right now, but of course you have to fill out forms, whatever.
I'll
She's
fill
a
'em
lawyer.
out.
No, I'm joking with you guys. We're only taking the best for this one. But I want you to know Nicole is a bankruptcy attorney, which I would
Correct.
like to ask you some questions.
Sure.
You're also a dual citizen with the United States and Israel.
Correct.
We're going to ask you your opinions on Israel if I want. And you started off in a mushav.
Yes.
And I want you to have a good laugh because you're a little girl and I like you and all that. My family, after the Holocaust, I tell this to people, 7 out of the 10 were killed.
Wow.
And my father had two sisters that survived and 2 nephews. And we had a big family, whatever. And they went to Israel. And my father didn't. My father went to Canada, to the rabbi with his sisters. But these 2 brothers, my nephews, went to Israel in 1945. And they opened up a mushav called Nir Galim next to Ashdod. It's one of the biggest mushavs in Israel.
very close to
Very
ours.
powerful. They had, you should have seen when I was a little kid, I was lost. They had the first Yad Vashem ever created in Israel from the real Holocaust survivors. And he's still alive, my cousin. He's 95 years old. His wife just passed away. Beautiful. I have generals. I have people in the Mossad. I have lieutenants. I have Mizrahi. I have religious. I have Hasidic. So I'm all over Israel. I know every inch of Israel. I wasn't like you little babies. I drove on the back roads. I used to drive through
You told that a few
Yericho.
weeks ago. You were
Right.
talking about being
I
there
drive
before
right
the
through the
belt.
Palestinian territories. I used to drive through Yericho, and I had some Palestinian friends because I was a tour guide. But I tell you, I know what a mushav is. Mushav is not a kibbutz. Mushav is a profitable thing, and you guys are wonderful, and you serve the community. And I'm embarrassed that we were supposed to move to Israel, but my father passed away in Israel, moving us there. So I never went. We had a house in Telston, and we just never went. But I always go. Sometimes I used to go for a weekend, for Shabbos to Israel when I was a travel agent, and it's the wonderful place. And a mushav does serve our community, does produce stuff for the country. And I wasn't in the army. I was 6 weeks helping the animals when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? 18 years old. I tried to do something. They did give me an outfit, by the way. It was very cool.
We have a photo of this.
I do. So that was it. It was 1980 for 6 weeks, but it was
Wow.
cute. It was very
Okay.
cool. But I'm proud of you, and we're going to start simple and plain.
Sure.
You're a Jewish girl.
Yes.
You're an Israeli woman.
Yes.
And the whole world says you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. The terrorist attack never happened. You're making this up. Even though today I saw a captured soldier from the Hamas. He sat there as they questioned him nicely. They didn't beat him. They didn't torture him. And what happened? Yes, they told us to come in.
To
We
kill
killed the children.
Everyone,
They said,
yeah.
do you know that, what do your father say? He says, if I ever go home, my father will kill me because we don't do that. So, but you did it. He says, but our bosses told us to do that. He said, we were sitting there eating dates, drinking their water. I'm not so want to talk about what the Hamas did. We know they're animal pigs. The point is, what's the effect, not only on you, because you're one of them and your family there, but do you realize that you've spoken to them? People of the world don't believe that it hurts us. 1,400 people, we should proportionately, listen to this, go back and only kill 1,400 of them, rape and kill. Isn't that so? Nicole, explain to me, because you're Israeli girl. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this didn't really happen. Maybe it's just fake. You're making it up.
Yeah. This is what most Israelis know as psychological warfare. The word proportionally is really the new anti-Semitic buzzword.
Oh.
You have to be proportionate in your response, and it's psychological warfare for a few reasons. One is everybody knows that the Israeli army is not going to be proportionate in its response, not because it's going to go on a grander scale like we're getting accused of, but because in order to be proportionate in our response, we would have to march into Gaza, go into homes of families, burn their houses,
I agree.
rape their
I
women,
agree.
chop their
I
children,
agree.
kidnap
I
their
agree.
elderly. That's a proportionate response.
Yeah.
If we're really going to do the Hammurabi Code and do an eye for an eye, that's proportionate.
Basically, we're Jews. I got
We're
you.
not going to do it.
I got you. We're Jews, but my question to you is: it's affected us. I can't sleep. It bothers me, and I'm not an Israeli. I'm an American. But why don't these other people see the truth? Are we? I mean, Tom, they don't. I mean,
I was reading the New York Post yesterday where the girl attended the concert and got kidnapped by Hamas and they found her beheaded. I mean, I think
But they're saying it's not true, Nicole. I mean,
Listen, there are people that say the Holocaust is not true.
I know.
Right? And so
Or September 11th.
there's people that say September 11th.
Charlie-
No, I
There's a
didn't know
conspiracy
that. Really?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
Charlie
for-
Sheen was
for
actually
years.
famous for that, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Idiot.
yeah,
And
there-
I like Charlie Sheen.
I did too. but-
There's a Jones, I think his name was Jones, a lawsuit that just came out, a man that denied the Sandy Hook shooting, right? And he was sued for
Miss
for
Lawyer,
libel,
why
right.
can't I say whatever I want? The First Amendment, Fifth
because
Amendment.
because speech is free, but lies are not, right? You have freedom of speech. You do not have freedom to.
So a comedian that makes up fake stories?
A comedian that makes up fake stories will tell you that they're fake, right? There's a difference between sarcasm, right? There's a difference between satire.
My jokes are real, by the
and
way.
the truth,
I
right?
hope so. Linda's not
right.
listening,
So
right?
comedians use hyperbole and satire, and that's expected of the comedians. I think the problem we're having now is that it's really, I'm surprised and disappointed at the media on a grand scale, from BBC all the way down to CNN. I'm a big fan of CNN. I was once on CNN in 2009. I'm a fan of them.
Wow.
But I think that there has been a serious just lack of responsibility in journalism. When you're taking your facts from Hamas, right? Take that hospital bombing last week.
Yeah.
There was a hospital bombing, and it was proven 2 and 3 times over. It was proven 2 and 3
She
times
said
over.
thank you in Hebrew. Go ahead,
Right?
yeah.
That it was not Israel that bombed the hospital. In fact, it was a failed rocket from Hamas. But immediately the world jumped.
Why?
Jumped 2 minutes.
Why?
Because it's
Because we're
because
Jews? Is that the answer?
I think part of it is, because we're Jews. The other part of it is because Israel, in a very short amount of time.
Aren't we as Jews just being babies and like letting them, always saying, "Oh, you're coming after us? We're Jews. We're Jews." I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, but
That's okay.
are we using that as an excuse or for letting them torture us? I mean, you're a single mom, okay? Would you get on a
Sure.
plane tomorrow with your kid and go to Israel?
With my kid, no.
Well, no.
Right? By myself, absolutely. With my child, not at this time.
How about sending your kid to school now here in the United States?
I do send her to school.
I
in the
know, but
United
you're not
States.
scared? You're not worried?
And she's one of the only Jews in school, and I still
But
send
so
her.
many people are telling me I
So
can't send
here's-
my kid to school.
Here's the problem, right? Here's the problem is, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as my entire Israeli family is concerned, all of the terrified Jews are dead. All of the what? It sounds harsh, right? But 2 generations ago, all the Jews that were scared and timid and very afraid of speaking up and proclaiming their Judaism, what happened to them? They died. Right? So the scariest thing is not to fear right now. The scariest thing is to fear being Jewish. We are a global minority, a powerful minority, and I think that's what incenses so many people, right? We're a very powerful minority. Sometimes I forget that we're a minority. We don't feel like a minority. There's only 16 million Jews worldwide, and half of them, that's it.
Wow.
And by the way, we're just finally coming back around.
And half of them are not religious.
Half of them are in Israel. Yeah, most of them aren't religious.
Right.
Let's be real, right?
No. We have a nice.
A lot. We have a big secular population,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of them aren't. But that's the thing: is Jewish. To be Jewish is not so much about our religion as it is about our identity. I am not a perfect Jew. Okay, I don't always wear skirts. I don't always keep Galat kosher. I don't always keep Shabbat. I'm going to be honest. A lot of Jews are not perfect Jews. That's why
Right.
Mashiach hasn't come yet, right?
No,
But
I believe
it's-
that we have a lot to do. That's why.
Right, we have a lot to do, and not all of us are perfect at the practice of being Jewish, but it's an identity. I'm Jewish every single day, even when I'm not perfectly Jewish.
I love you.
Right, and so it's
And so is your daughter.
so is my daughter, any child of mine. And here's another
No.
confession.
I'm not saying that, of course, she's born a Jew, but you instill in her, like I instill in my
course.
children, her Jewishness, her love for her history. Do you ever encounter anti-Semitism in your work? Jew lady, Jew lawyer.
Jew broad, yes.
Not Jew broad,
yes.
Jew lawyer.
No,
you know
I've
that.
been called Jew broad before.
And what do you do?
You do the same. As a woman, I do the same thing that I would do when I'm being objectified, which is almost every minute of every day.
Really?
No.
You believe that because you're a woman, you are being we're prejudiced more to you?
Oh, no. I didn't say prejudiced. I said objectified. How many times have you offered me a husband in the last 20 minutes?
Because
Right, so-
no. Hold
it's
on.
not the
You
same
see,
as being
look at the
just-
finger. Look at. Did you see her finger?
No.
I'll
This
explain
is
to you.
a
So
mother
first of all, I'm an
thing.
old Jewish man, and the reason we do marriage and that's something. I don't get wrong to my gay people out there. Marriage is between man and a woman, and I always believed in the Torah. I am a religious man, and I believe that a man and woman should always be married. You know, my grandmother died when she was in her 70s. My grandfather said he has to be married.
Opa.
You have to be married. I'm not saying, I'm joking with you, but I'm just saying to you is that, yes, I believe in marriage. I believe you should get divorced if you can't be married. That's not a problem. And people's husbands die. I believe that God wants a husband and a wife together. I wasn't joking with you if you never want to marry. My mother never remarried after my father died because she loved him. I just want to say that. So I didn't mean objectify you to be married if you're a woman. If you were a single guy, look at Tom. I'm trying to get this crazy man married, but he just doesn't want to wear long pants. I'm so happy. I'm taking a picture of
I
him.
actually have long pants.
I know that. That's why I'm going to
But I
get
actually
No,
wanted to ask you a question, lay aside.
Go
the
ahead,
stuff,
and then I'll go back to the other point.
Because you actually talked about, your Israeli citizenship. You actually have family fighting over there. And I was curious for the audience, maybe to take a step back and if you're talking to them and what are they saying out there? Because I think that's to have somebody out there on the front lines. I think that is really fascinating for the audience here to hear that.
Yeah, it's been huge to be able to compare what's being said over here with what's being said over there and compare the news and the headlines. Sure. So I do. My entire paternal family is in Israel, from my father all the way on. My grandmother is there, uncles, aunts, cousins, everyone. Out of my family members, I have an uncle who was actually pulled out of retirement and went back. He's a
Yehuda, right?
Yeah, Yehuda Suissa. He's amazing. He's my favorite uncle. But he went back.
They call me Uncle Heshy.
Uncle Heshy's cool, but
everybody does.
Uncle Yuda's a 2-star general.
Okay.
You can't really compete
I
with that.
know. I'm just,
Right,
you see, guys, everybody makes fun of me. She doesn't even know me, and she's knocking me.
I don't know you, but I know Uncle Yuda, though.
I want to hear about Uncle Yuda.
So yeah, he is back. He doesn't tell us very much because he's a high-ranking official, and he's always been very stoic and very protective, both of his family and of just the secret nature of his work. But he is there. I have a cousin who was in the U.S. As a flight instructor. He's my younger cousin who I grew up with. I adore him. He dropped everything. He was here on a visa on a flight to teach in flight school in Iowa. And October 7th came around. He ran.
It's my birthday, ironically.
That's awful.
Sad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He ran a drive, and then he said, "That's it. It's time to go home." And he went home. So that's my cousin Omel Marciano.
I love you, Mike. I have a cousin from a very wealthy family, super duper wealthy, and he ran away to Israel right after he finished college, got married, decided to become a rabbi, and he joined the Israeli army as a sniper. And I met him at the hotel on a Shabbos with his gun. I said, "You're a religious rabbi?" He says, "Yeah, and I'm a sniper, and I have to hold my gun with me."
That's right.
And he came back, and now he went back again. He's like, he's younger than me. He's like in his late 30s, and I'm so proud of him. You know what I mean? And people telling me that the religious don't join the army. We do join the army. Now, not everybody has to join the army. Not everybody can fight. When the soldiers go away, you know who takes over the army? Who takes over the mailmen? Who take over the cops? Who take over the offices? The Hasidic Jewish boys. They put on they run the country. We work together. Not everybody can go to the front lines. And I'm so proud of the Israelis. I'm so proud of my family members there. And I'm so proud that you're telling me what's going on there.
Yeah.
Did you, when you saw what happened on October 7th, can you believe it? Did you even think it was possible?
No. First I thought these numbers can't be right. And that's back when the numbers were like 400, 500, not 1,500.
First day or something.
Yeah, the first day. Like they hadn't even counted. They had no idea what was going on, roughly. I called my family right away. Like I started with my dad.
Your mother too, right?
I called my dad, I called my grandma, I called everybody. And my grandmother's very religious. She's probably the most perfect Jew among us in the family. And it's Shabbat, I'm 33 years old. I've never, ever heard of my grandmother picking up the phone on Shabbat. That's not a thing. And she picked up the phone. And she actually called. She called my father, and my father was like, "Yeah, Grandma called." I said, "Grandma called?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "What did she say to you?" "Elohim yismach li." Like, God will forgive me for this, but I need to know that everyone's okay. And she's been on the phone two weeks, 2 Shabbats in a row. She was on the phone. right? So that shows you just the gravity of what was going on. This was unprecedented, unheard of. Up until October 7th, honestly, I thought Israel was the safest place in the world. You couldn't tell me otherwise.
When you were a little girl, you had no problems floating around.
I had no problem. Like, the only thing I wasn't allowed to do as a little girl was get on a bus.
Really?
Wow, you kidding me?
Right, the buses were blowing up. Yeah.
The first Intifada, I was
never scared to get on a bus. I used to love getting on the bus. I drove all over Israel, but I loved getting on the bus just despite the fact to show the world that I wasn't scared. Listen to me. Living in fear is not for me, and I can't do that. And I tell this to a lot of my audience. You want to live in fear, you're foolish. Foolish. God will take you one way or another. Of course, you don't jeopardize and stand on the edge of a riverbank and stand there in the middle of the cold. But again, living in fear and not letting you live your life. And the Israelis live on bombs and bombing all day long.
Israelis live like there's no tomorrow, and that's what's lovable about them. You know, earlier in this conversation,
aren't
you
we
asked
stupid?
about,
By the way, why do we need Israel? What? I mean, I know it's the Holy Land, but why do we need to go through this trouble to be surrounded? Let's just let them in, give them back the country, and nobody will get killed anymore. And I know. Look at those eyes. You see those eyes? I don't know. I don't know. I'm in trouble now. I'm asking an Israeli. I mean, aren't you tired of this? I mean, it's not one murder. Like,
first of all,
it's
here's
day after day, year after year. It just never ends.
That's been true for 4,000 years. And when you say give it back, I'm not really sure what you mean, right? That is.
Let's walk away.
But
it's a losing proposition.
Here's the problem.
We're going to declare bankruptcy. We're going to get a lawyer. We're going to give we're going to give up the land.
You know what?
That's how it works.
But listen to me. Even the purpose of declaring bankruptcy is to keep your home.
True.
If I'm representing a client and this client is at their lowest of the low and they look like they're going to lose everything, the whole point of filing for bankruptcy is to keep your homestead. That's the benefit, right? They don't want to lose their house. And the win for me as their bankruptcy attorney is to make sure, okay, we're going to get you a fresh start, but you're never going to have to leave your house. This is your house. You're going to keep your house. We're going to have it. We're going to get the loan mod. We're going to get what we have to do, but you stay in your house. So when you say, quote unquote, give it back, like you just said, I want you to understand the mistake you're making in your speech. And this is the problem that we're seeing in the discourse all over the country, college campuses especially.
You know, I was going to ask you about that.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I
that.
haven't even started on that. Right? Here's the problem with that kind of discourse. When you say give it back, it's as though to connotate as if it wasn't ours. When you say give it back, it's like I took something from you. I didn't take anything from you.
They claim
Israelis,
you did.
I'm sure they do, but the history says otherwise, right?
The deed is in our name.
Israeli, that's fine. And you know, you could say possession is 9/10 of the law. Sure, I've heard that joke before. Every lawyer has, but at the end of the day, the possession does not hold to the true owner of whatever the item is. Right? Israelis are native. They are indigenous to the land. Jews are indigenous to the land. Israelis, they were called Israelites. It was Judea and Samaria before it was Philistina. And we'll get to the name Philistina in a second. But Israelis are native to that homeland. And before the first Muslim ever walked, Israelis were there 2,500 to 3,000 years before. And oh, by the way, there's not a single Abrahamic book that contests that. Even Islam acknowledges that the Jews were there first. There is an acknowledgement of the Jewish people in the Quran.
Why do they hate us so much? You
I
live there. You live. You didn't
I
have any.
have a question
Woman, you
for
never
you.
had any Muslim friends?
I've had lots of Muslim
Not
friends.
here.
I
Forget
studied,
this country.
No,
I'm
not
talking
here.
here.
I've had Muslim friends in Palestine. I've had to sneak into Palestine to visit with my Muslim friends.
Wow.
I've had to.
I like this girl.
I
I'm
studied
telling
abroad
you.
in Morocco.
Can I
read
say
the
something
Quran.
bad?
One of our
Can I say
listeners,
something bad? I need to get you married. I mean, you're just a great
Lama.
girl.
I have a question from one of our listeners here, and
Sure.
you touched upon this earlier, and I guess she wanted to clarify this from Black Beauty. Are you saying that past generations of Israel were kind of fearful, but not the present? So can you clarify what you talked about earlier, that the past generations were fearful, but not the present?
So I don't know that it's so much the past generations were fearful. I think we have dealt with this sort of uprising we've never dealt with. But what I'm referring to are the first and second intifadas of 87 to 93 and then 2000 to 2005. And by the way, going on this mentality of why don't we just give it to them and walk out, we did. Right? That's exactly how Gaza became Gaza. We did. We were under complete, bombardment of bombs, mall bombings.
And we gave the Sinai back to Egypt too.
We've done that before. We've tried that before, right? It never worked, obviously. So it's not that we were fearful in the past. Israelis have never been fearful to be Israeli, right? We take the risk every day, and we still run around holding our flags, and we're still proud as ever. But we've had to be more prudent about where our children go, right? That's really just the heartbreaking reality of this. And this is something even Golda Meir used to say, is, if they loved their children as much as they hate ours, like, there wouldn't be a problem. So in the way that I would not send my daughter to Israel now, at the moment, not because I don't want her to go, not because she doesn't have a family that would love to see her. It breaks my heart that I'm this apprehensive. It's the first time I've ever had apprehension about her going to Israel. She's 8 years old. She's been to Israel 5 times. I love to take her there. I love
that. Wow.
Right? But right now, I'm prudent about where she goes. She's my only child. She's my most prized possession. This is how Israelis treat their children. These are our Israelis are like that
we
about
all
their kids.
do. I might too. I love my babies. I call
our
them
babies
still
are
every single day, even
and
though
that's
they're
the
grown.
difference,
Good,
right? Unfortunately,
you gotta call your children every day, even if
and
they're
if
married.
you want to give us a call and talk to Nicole, 646-974-1580. So if you want to talk about this and ask Nicole any questions, she has a very versatile background. She's been to Israel. She lived there. She has seen a lot. She has family fighting there, and we can also obviously plug some of the places.
I want to ask you a legal question. Maybe it's out of your realm.
We'll
you
see.
Understand that this boy, what's his name? Daniel K. What was his name?
Was that the student from Cornell?
Yeah, his name is Daniel, whatever. Who cares? Idiot that he is. And he.
Who cares?
No, because he's an idiot.
Yes.
He actually went on the internet and he wrote, "Kill them, rape them, slit their throats." I mean, his name is Patrick Day.
Yeah.
Now,
Patrick Day.
again, don't get angry with me, but this is America, and he didn't threaten anybody in particular. He said, go out and kill everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't have a gun. He just said it. They arrested him. Mm-hmm. Okay, did he do something illegal?
Yes.
What?
So you're assuming
he incited a riot? He did not. He was not in the street.
No.
Social media.
Hate speech. Not all speech is protected, right? This idea This idea that free speech is this universal, all-encompassing concept is not legally correct. So not all speech is protected. There are, and it's a small subset, okay? I'm not saying, you can't say what you want. But there's certain types of speech that are not protected, okay? Hate speech, not always protected.
How do we know the difference?
I mean, he was pretty specific. If you're saying,
but
kill Jews, rape Jews,
how do we know that certain speeches are? I was watching videos of a lot of the Farrakhan and other Muslim people standing in the middle of Times Square, talking like "kill the Jews" or "the Jews are no good." How come they're not being arrested? And they had a crowd around them. The Palestinian protest. Kill the Jews from the sea to the sea. Shouldn't all of them be right? Yeah. Should all of them be arrested?
Do you want my opinion?
Yeah.
Honestly, yes. Right.
Wow.
I don't think that, and that's true for anybody. I'm not just going to go with the Palestinians. If an Israeli says kill all the Palestinians, that's just as bad, right? So
Meir Kahane.
Well, right. So
no,
so
I don't think he said kill them. He said just throw them out of Israel.
No, but you can't do that either. And by the way, that's also extremely ignorant, right? As an Israeli, we're taught, first of all, we're taught Arabic in school in Israel. We're taught the history of both.
You're taught Arabic in school?
Of course.
Why?
Because these are your neighbors. You have to talk to them.
So that's your second, like we are taught Spanish.
Yes.
You're taught that. Very cool. Okay.
Right? And we learn both the history of the Palestinians and the history of the Israelis. For anyone to think that either group, whether it's the Palestinians or the Israelis, are supposed to disappear from the land, for anyone to think that, first of all, you're living in another world, you're dreaming, it's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen, right? That's not the point. It shouldn't be only Israel or only Palestine. It can't be only one or the other. Both have to live together, and there used to be a time that they did.
Piggybacking off that, because a lot of our listeners want to talk to you. They think you're doing a phenomenal job here. How do you reach a balance? This is from Michael Smith. How do you reach a balance in a land for Israel and Palestine so they can't be free, basically? That's kind of what his question is in terms of this whole balance between Israel and Palestine. You've obviously got experience, you got family fighting out there. So basically, how does this all kind of end? I mean, what do you think? So
the discourse has been, and I understand how it looks, I understand the aesthetics, and I understand why people believe that Palestinian citizens are basically imprisoned. That's the line, right? This is an open-air prison.
Open-air, stupid.
Right, I've heard it. No, listen, it's not stupid to the out. You have to be able, in order to have this conversation and make it productive and have it go somewhere, you can't just dismiss what somebody is saying. Right? It
Where
can't
do you
just be
live? By the way, where do you live? What
Right now?
state?
New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn now. But yeah.
But come on. I mean, you don't travel every day. You have to work. You have to take your kids to school. Okay, you're a big shot lawyer. Me and Tom,
We're little guys.
We're little guys. We can barely get out of our borough. So
Barely.
you're telling me I live in an open air prison because I can't leave? Really? You think I can leave? I work 12, 18-hour days. I wish I can go
hold
to
on.
Florida and drink pina coladas, which is my dream. I want to.
It's right. It's not a matter of whether you can because of your own circumstances. It's a matter of whether you have access, right? So I want you to think about how this looks to other people. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not telling you they're right. I'm telling you they're misinformed. But still, think about how this looks, right? You have 2 million people in Gaza, right? 2 million Gazan citizens, not Israeli Arabs, not Israelis, they're different. People in Gaza alone. And they're in this, small stretch on the Gaza Strip. It's very, very crowded. And so to the outside world, to the Western world, to the kids that have never set foot in Israel, that are not Jewish, that don't get it, it's very trendy to really root for and defend the oppressed. Nobody wants to root for the bad guy, right?
While you continue to do it, we're going to have a caller come on here, so we're going to have a caller ask.
Yeah,
you
that would be great.
We'll
Right,
bring
so-
the caller on here. So for those that are listening and watching.
One question before she starts.
Yeah, mhm.
I don't get angry. I'm going to
I'm
ask
not
you,
gonna
but I
get
have
angry.
to. Trump or no Trump?
Oy vey boy, really? This is
I want to know. You don't
Well,
have
we-
to say.
we
You
do
can.
have
You
the
can
caller.
say.
Okay, listen.
I just want to
okay,
know.
you know what? No, it's because it's a bifurcated answer. Do you want me to speak as an American citizen or as
American
an Israeli
citizen.
citizen?
No.
Because it's a different answer.
We have right. As Israeli, I got that. We love Trump, but I'm talking. You're going to the polls next year.
Yeah.
You have to vote for somebody. I never miss an election.
I don't miss an election
Do
either.
you like Trump or do you like? I mean,
Well, let's
No.
bring the caller on here in a
She
second.
doesn't like
I
Trump.
know, but
Oy
our
vey.
producer wants
I gotta
the
come
caller
on.
on.
Now,
Caller,
we have
come
a
on
problem.
the
We
air.
have to find a husband that doesn't
Well,
like Trump.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, caller. Are you sure we have a caller? Our
Producer
producers
said-
have no idea what
Producer
they're
told
doing.
us the caller's
I-
coming on here, so we'll
They
give
don't
you.
know how to use the machines back there.
We'll give you 3 seconds, caller. So
Okay.
do we have the caller on the line here? I guess.
So, okay, so Nicole is a Democrat, huh? That's good for you. I like. Hey, I've been a Democrat all my life. I just switched
So,
to Republican the last couple of years. I
have
just
the-
like Trump.
Okay, here we go. Caller, you're on the air here with the Just Enough Heshy show here. 646-974-1580. Are you here with us now? Caller, you're on the air. Hello. Hello. I don't know. Our producer signaled for me to bring the
Maybe
caller
not.
on. So I don't.
Avram thinks it's a teaching thing. Don't teach
Okay,
him now
so
how to use the phone.
The caller will have to call back in. I do have one question that we kind of touched upon
Yeah.
with one of our listeners.
Yeah, let's talk about
What
it.
do you think of these universities experiencing anti-Semitism? And I'm glad this was brought up
yeah,
because
so
one
am
of
I.
the things I'm personally upset about, and maybe Heshy agrees with me, is that these, for example, publicly funded universities,
Yeah.
like here in CUNY, SUNY,
Bingo.
they're getting funded by us, the taxpayer, and they're
Bingo.
breeding this
But
anti-Semitism.
even the professors and the deans
yeah,
are
but
it's
not
that's
coming-
the
it's
whole-
coming
the
from
whole
the
environment.
professors,
But
right,
talk
but-
about this. Talk
Yeah,
about
no,
this.
I couldn't agree with you more. I find what's going on the universities in particular really just shameful. I'm wholly disappointed with them. And it's sad because I consider myself, a consumer of academia.
You're a recent graduate too, not that far.
I graduated law school in 2015, right? It's the same year my daughter was born. But I just don't understand. The word educator, right, is literally one who leads out of ignorance. That is what the word means when you break it up and you take it back to its Latin meaning, right? That's what they're supposed to do, right? So these professors who are not only not doing that, but then imposing their own ideologies on students, as who come in as blank slates, I don't get it. These are supposed to be walls of higher learning, and they're doing the opposite. I respect that there should be a comprehensive discourse. It shouldn't just be one view or the other. But when you push an ideology, and a misinformed ideology at that you're responsible for what you breed on that campus. And a lot of these campuses that are not taking control over what goes on their grounds, where you're seeing Jewish students are targeted, Jewish students are told to hide, Jewish students are being followed. what the hell is this?
And
Right?
they're
And so
funded by the
I love
taxpayers.
this
funded by
stuff.
taxpayer money.
Public-funded
So-
universities. Heshy,
So
you get
why?
into city
My
council,
question,
you better
Miss
do
Lawyer,
something
during
about
COVID, I did file lawsuits against the government and stuff.
Did you really?
Yeah.
did.
What do you want me to do?
How'd they go?
Not good. Not good. Doesn't make a difference. I wanted to get my places open. We did protest. We cut the locks open. We were again. We protested and we did what we wanted. We didn't riot. I mean, even though they claimed I was right when they arrested me again. But the point is we again, if the law was no good, but shouldn't we be suing all these colleges? Shouldn't we just get a bunch of lawyers and sue them? And not only the colleges, every professor, like you said, that guy from the mass shooting over there that denied that all those people were killed. Where was it in
Yeah,
Connecticut?
he got sued. That was Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook. We should
Alex
be
Jones,
suing
that
all.
was.
You're telling
Alex
me.
Jones there,
Okay,
yep.
so all these professors, we should sue them. We can make money on them. You have a case history right here. They're lying.
Yeah, listen, the fact that you're saying we should doesn't mean that we can't, right? It's just that nobody's done it yet. I'm sure somebody will. They ought to, right? I think a class action suit could be warranted. But these,
I'm gonna have a
like
chat
you
with
said,
you.
Tom, these are people these are institutions that use government funding, right?
When I get into city
and there
council, I'm
should
going to
be-
crush them.
There
I
you go.
promise
And
you.
there should be consequences when you're inciting violence, whether you're doing it on the Capitol or you're doing it at any university in any city of any state.
Oh, she said
when-
Capitol. We're in trouble.
Well, that's the truth.
We're in
When-
trouble.
Let her
hey,
speak,
there are
Heshy.
people that are going.
No,
through
no, I
cases,
was
I'm just
there.
saying.
Okay, I love you
That's
anyways.
okay.
That's okay.
You were there, but you're not
I-
arrested. That's the difference.
I didn't. I would never go in.
Right there you go. When you're inciting any kind of violence anywhere, there should be accountability. I think we've taken this concept of progressive and the concept of free speech and whatnot, and we've taken it just way too far in an attempt to remain PC and not offend. You cannot just eviscerate the concept of accountability just because you're on a college campus and this happens to be a hot button political issue, right? And by the way, that would be true. That was true on 9/11 too, right? I remember I was a little girl. I was in 6th grade, but I remember when 9/11 happened, it was not cool to be Muslim on September 12th. It wasn't. Like, you couldn't walk around with a hijab on September 12th. And I genuinely felt awful for those people, right? It wasn't right then. It's not right either way now, right? What's interesting to me is, personally,
See,
I think
Muslim, everybody thinks Muslim is one thing. It's not.
it's not. But
It's
neither
not.
is Judaism.
Right.
We have 4 sects. Nobody
Right.
knows about it, right?
Right.
But there
Right.
are four different types of Jews in the
That's
world.
right.
And we don't always agree with each other,
Right.
whether it's what to eat on Passover or what language to speak.
Right.
We don't.
Right.
Right? But that's within us, just like there are different types of Muslims. Where I think you're seeing a lot of these pro-Palestinian discussions and protests just because it's a plain numbers game. There's 16 million of us. There are billions of them.
What are
Right.
they going to gain? You
So,
know, we're not.
nothing.
Their protests are worthless, and these kids are really
Nothing.
They don't even
Gloom.
know what they're protesting.
They don't even know what they're
Actually.
protesting, right? What kills me as an Israeli, and this is the part, and God bless my father. He doesn't always get things right, but this he got spot on. I remember calling him like Monday, right? Like the Monday after October 7th, and I said, "Oh my God, this is great. Everyone's on Israel's side. I've never seen so many Israeli flags. Every landmark in the world has an Israeli flag on it. Could you believe this? This is wonderful." And he said to me, "You're being naive." He said, "Give it a week." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Give it a week. It's going to be completely the opposite. Watch." And he was not kidding.
You
right?
know, I see a lot of the gays and the lesbians and the black people protesting with the Palestinians. Do they understand that if they went to Palestine, a lot of these Muslim countries, they'd be killed?
Listen.
So it doesn't make sense. Are they just stupid? I mean, you're telling me they're stupid. They have to be stupid.
The gays for Palestine thing is like chickens for KFC,
I
right?
know.
I don't understand
I don't
it.
understand it at all.
But the other thing that I don't understand, and this for me is really crucial. If there was anything that I would tell any college kid who's doing these protests right now, the one thing that I really need them to get is this whole free Palestine thing. Stop assimilating Hamas with Palestine. This idea that Israel is at war with Palestine, anybody who calls this an Israeli-Palestinian war is an idiot. This is not an Israeli-Palestine war. This is an Israeli-Hamas war. And while there are legitimate...
You know why I disagree with you? Because the Palestinians, again, I know you're telling me they can't, but they're being used as human shields.
100%.
And they could leave. They could
No, they
leave.
can't.
I see
Right,
the women
here's-
saying that we're raising our children so they should die. For them, regular women, they could leave. They can sneak away. You're right, 1, 2, 10, they capture. But you have like you said, 2.2 million. Pick yourselves up and tell Hamas goodbye. Or don't protect them or don't
Right.
vote them. If they
So-
don't, they can't be that scared, all of them. And even if they are, leave.
No, hold on. Now, there are things about your point that I agree with and things about your point that I caution you about. What do you want to start with?
Let's
Caution me.
The bad first.
All right. Wow, you guys are too pessimist. Holy crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Okay. So, wow, you didn't even discuss that decision.
Kind of.
Yeah. So, okay. So the thing that I agree with you on is, yes, there was a legitimate vote that happened, and these are the people that decided, for what reason I don't know, to vote in a terrorist faction group. That's unfortunate.
Okay? And mistake happened.
That's their mistake.
Too late,
The
we're
other thing,
screwed.
no, but said, okay. The other
So
thing
why don't
is,
they leave now?
Right,
I know you can't change the administration. Pick yourself up.
No.
and leave.
That's as good as saying, why did you guys get on the train in 1942, 1939, 1940? How could you get on the train? You're going somewhere ruinous. Get off the train.
No, we were
You can't-
told by our leaders to go.
Oh, we were told by our leaders to
Yeah,
go, and
I'm
they're
sorry.
told by their leaders to stay.
And you didn't think for yourself. Was what
They're
you're saying.
right. They're told by their leaders to stay. So you see how unfair that is?
But
So-
we didn't know we were going to the gas chambers, even though we knew something was going on.
We
They
knew something
know-
was going on
but
and it wasn't good.
But they know that the rocket's coming. They're being used as human shields.
Right. So there's
It's
a call
foolish.
to yes, it is foolish. And there's a call to action here. There's a couple calls to action here. One is and call me naive and I've had a lot of Israelis. Listen, October 7th hardened the heart of a lot of Israelis, and I understand why. And it's been tough
What do
for
you mean
even
by that?
So there used to be a time before October 7th, there were lots of Israelis that believe in a two-state solution. Lots of Israelis that are not willing to have Palestinian citizens pay the price of their awful, corrupt, horrific government faction, even if they voted them in, right? Every populace of people is really subject to the clowns they vote for. What happened to us on January 6th was a disaster, but it was a disaster of our own making. Right, the people that got hurt that day were people that voted in the people that incited that violence.
Can I deny that?
You
I
can
wanna
deny
be a
that if you
denier.
like,
I
but
don't think
facts are
January
facts.
6th was a bad thing. You have a couple of idiots. I have
right,
a couple
but-
of idiots that went in there and did something stupid.
Okay,
we
well,
have that all the
actually,
time.
Sure, but that's the thing. In a populace of 2.2 million people, Hamas is your couple of idiots, right? So it's comparable.
Guns,
It's
murder,
comparable.
rape, killing. We don't do
So-
that here.
In the amount of time that we have, I wanted to ask. So, what is your?
I can't
post?
hear you.
Oh, so in your post, so you're a lawyer. So for
Right.
the audience that's hearing you for the first time, what
Sure.
do you do on a day-to-day basis?
When I'm not worrying about Israel, you mean?
Yeah.
So on a day-to-day basis,
And being a mother,
Yeah,
that's a
and
tough.
doing-
That's
yeah,
a long.
I do a lot,
And
so-
a lawyer, and a mother,
and a TED speaker,
And
and
by the way,
you know.
she's also you were volunteering recently in Long Island. What were you doing?
Yes, yeah. So I did
Tell
an
us,
event.
I love that. We do that as well. I love you. I want to know about
Thanks.
that.
Yeah, so I sing for fun. I don't like sing professionally or anything, but I sing decently well, and I got to sing. I got to marry the things I love doing. So I sang for Applaud Our Kids. It's a foundation that gets music and drama and acting and all sorts of lessons for underprivileged children, and they ran their soiree, their fundraising event, and I got to sing at it, which for me was a lot of fun. When I'm not doing that, then I'm mentoring, and I'm actually up for an award. The ceremony is this Friday.
Oh,
it's called
good
the
luck.
Athena Award. Thanks.
Good luck.
Right, and then I have my TED
What's the name of the
Talks.
award?
Athena, the goddess. So
Athena, the
yeah,
goddess.
Athena,
Okay.
not the goddess, but like Athena as
I got
in
it.
same name.
Yeah.
And it's a professional leadership award. So I'm doing that on Friday, and when I'm not doing TED Talks and sitting on school boards and all that, I'm a lawyer. And when I'm
She's
not a lawyer,
busier
I'm a
than me.
mother.
What type of
I
law do
thought
you
I was
practice?
busy.
So I practice bankruptcy, real estate, wills, trusts, estates, and in a former life, I practiced corporate law. So I know quite a bit about that and formations and the like. But our whole thing is we do bankruptcy defense. We're on the defense side of things.
Good
So
girl.
we make
Good
sure,
girl.
right? So we help people who are in awful financial straits, and we get their lives back in order.
I might need to use you because somebody's taking everything away from me, and she won't let me have nothing.
Oh, that's awful.
What do you like
I
to
know.
sing?
And she
What
won't
do you
even
sing?
divorce me. At least take the money and let me go. She says, no, you're going to suffer with me to the day I die.
So,
She says me die, not her.
What are some of your things you like to sing and some of your influences?
Sure. So I sang "Rise Up" last
Okay.
week
Okay.
by Andrew Day.
Yep.
The women that pretty much raised me growing up: Celine Dion, Whitney Houston,
Sure,
Mariah
okay.
Carey. The
Celine Dion's
divas.
very sick right now.
Can I, ask
I
you,
know, I heard,
Britney,
it's so sad.
Britney, I love Britney Spears, no?
I mean, I was 6 years old when that came out. Like,
She's
yeah,
great.
she was.
She's only 41.
She's a great entertainer. Britney Spears, and what happened to her was a travesty. As far as her range and singing voice goes,
Well, Whitney Houston's a little bit above
you
that.
can't compete with Whitney Houston. I'm sorry, that's the queen.
About Madonna?
Madonna was good. She was good.
One last, my favorite person of all, Jennifer
Lopez.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, all the men love her.
I thought she was Jewish for a while.
You wish she was Jewish. I don't know about that.
Linda, that was a joke, Linda. I would leave. No, I would never, Linda.
How are you influenced by all these different things? You're obviously involved in the community. You sing, you do law. Obviously, you're very well versed in what's going on around the world in Israel. So how does this stuff influence you in sort of the things you go about in terms of your life and how you approach things?
I'm influenced by the people in my life more so than the things I've gotten to do. I do the things I do for them in their name, right? I have a daughter, and I know how I would want the world to work for my daughter. I know how I want the world to be when she comes of age and she takes the reins. And then I was raised by a mother who also was very worldly, and she grew up in very adverse circumstances. She was a foster kid growing up.
She's had 21 he's raised.
Yeah, she didn't have anything. She had no parents, she had no money, she had no education. And she then had a daughter, right? And she just turned the world around because she knew what she wanted for her daughter. And I take a page out of that playbook. And so it really influences everything I do for others, the things I want my daughter to see, the examples I want her to have. And I just, the way I see this going, particularly with the Israeli conflict, and the way I hear people on both sides talking, it's really below the standard that I've set for her.
I want to ask you two quick questions, Tom. Sure. One, quick, just yes or no. Will the it's a stupid question. I know you've asked it 100 times. It's no stupid question. You think we'll ever have peace? I'm talking all over.
It's a good question.
Not the world, but Israel, Jews, all. We were getting close.
We were.
I was so excited with Saudi Arabia. I was so excited with all these little countries. I really was. I couldn't believe it in my lifetime. I'd see it, and look.
Do I think peace is possible? Yes.
Not possible. Of course it's possible if we grow up.
Do I think we'll have it? Yes. I also believe that there is a prescribed set of things we will have to do to get it. And it's a matter of whether or not we're willing to do it. And we will?
No, see, that's not what my question was. I know that.
Said we will.
Do you think we'll ever do it to have peace?
Yes.
Okay.
So looking at where we are, yes. And now let me explain.
No, that was it. I don't want to hear that. Because we only have another 2 minutes with our audience. Then we're gonna
one more from our audience.
But I want to ask you, do you all the bad things you've seen, and you've been a lawyer, you've seen a lot of people robbing and stealing and ripping each other off. You've done a lot of volunteer work with me, so you see a lot of the underprivileged people getting thrown out on the street, living in squalor. Does it affect you?
All the time.
And
I'd be lying if I said it.
And how do you fight that? How do you stay so happy and smiley?
Because you don't see who I am when I get home.
You're not smoking the marijuana.
No, but
I love you.
No. Very straightly.
Ask that question before they go. Go ahead.
Okay, so Yehuda Silber, all the way from Cleveland, wants to know: do you have any favorite Israel or Jewish composers that you like to listen to, or anything like that? Anything that you are interested in?
So it's funny. I like more of the modern music in Israel. Like Sarit Haddad will always be a favorite of mine. Omer Adam and all the charitable work he's doing, especially now, is great. When the Israeli rap scene busted out when I was like 12 years old.
Oh, there's such a thing?
What? Are you kidding? Of course.
God.
It's visible.
Subliminal. Have you heard of Subliminal?
Yeah, I'm actually friends with 2 Israeli basketball players. I cover college basketball, so I know a little bit about it.
We got 30
Israel
seconds.
Had a rap scene. Anyway,
one more question.
Look up Subliminal. They're great.
Thank you.
People are saying conspiracy theory. We had somebody on the show saying that Israel knew and allowed this to happen so they could make it what, Tom?
I've heard that theory. I know where you're going with this.
And
absolutely not. And here's why. Before October 7th, I acknowledged that we were at the brink of civil war in Israel. It was really bad.
Right.
However, this is the only home every Israeli has in the world, and we know it. And we're reminded of it every day, all the time. So while I think that we were very divided, I don't think any Israeli would risk treason and would risk selling out the only home they have just because of whatever division they're going through. It's kind of like when you're with your family. They're members of your family you don't always get along with. You curse them out, you beat them up, they're horrible. But let somebody else come over and say something ill about that member of your family, you're going to beat them up.
Say goodbye
And that's
to
how
the
Israelis are.
620 WSNR, thank you. 1640 WJPR, and also 93.5 FM WVIP. We will see you next week for Heshy's victory celebration.
I love you.
Hey.
Now that we lost a lot of our people, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Lawyer, Miss
Yeah.
Lawyer, George Santos, you
I-
know who that is.
I know exactly who
I
that is.
happen not to like him.
I don't like
okay?
him either.
Did they have a right to even do this vote and throw him out? He did win, right? How did he win?
I believe, he won. I think there was 20 Republicans that voted against the motion.
The final vote was 179 to 213.
And he needed, there was 2/3 you needed in order to
So
expel him.
they weren't even close.
No.
So they didn't expel him, in other words?
No,
Is
no,
that-
no.
That's it.
But
That's
do you
insane.
believe he should be expelled?
100%.
So tell us why.
No question.
Why do you think, in your opinion?
Because, first of all, he has federal charges against him. I think anybody who has federal charges and who's been indicted should not really have a chance to run, at least for that term, until they've been cleared. If they've been cleared, then they should run, right? In his case, he is a proven pathological liar, right? And now has a case that he has to fight, and may not even be able to fulfill the duties of his role, because he may be found guilty. This guy may go to jail. He's a fraudster. He's a liar. He's a grifter, and so
Innocent until proven guilty doesn't work for you?
not in
love
public
the-
service. I'm sorry, because
Right.
in public service,
you have to
it's
stand up to a higher
have to stand up to a
You see,
higher
Tom,
standard.
I've
Well,
been
this
saying
happened
that.
when
And it's
Michael
almost-
Grimm was in Congress. When he won, they basically said, don't come back, don't serve. And he wound up
right.
resigning.
And that's the thing.
Man, I
there's-
worked for,
There's
by
a
the
difference between right now. It's really we've gone totally left with this. There's a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republicans, it's a power grab. That's what it's turned into. And there used to be a time when they were a respectable party.
I like
It's
them,
turned into
most
a
of
pa-
them.
a
The
power
New York
grab.
Republicans are idiots. I got
Right,
it.
Yeah,
right.
they're
A lot
horrible.
of them, it's a power grab, right?
Right.
Every like look what happened to Senator in New Jersey, Mendez,
Menendez,
right?
Yeah.
He's also going through
He's not
charges.
Republican.
No, he's Democrat. I'm showing you.
And
I'm
he's not
contrasting.
resigning. He's never going to resign.
He's not resigning, but his party sure told him to.
Oh, yeah?
Hell yeah.
The county chairs are trying to basically block him.
They
'Cause
wanna
in
oust
New Jersey
him.
politics, it's different than New York. They have what's called like a vote. And the vote of the parties, basically, they're trying to find different people to run against him. Is what she's
Yeah,
basically trying
and,
to say.
and they've asked him. They've said publicly he should step down. His party is not
I
supporting
told
him.
Ina Vernikova to step down. She's not stepping down.
Well,
Now,
she
she
should too.
step down.
She
Now
should
that,
step down.
I
That's
agree
ridiculous.
with you. We agree with you on
I
that.
now
That's
switch
insane.
I do love
No,
you again. I lost for you in the middle of the show, but
And
now
Ina,
I
I think Ina had a lot to blame with what happened at that Palestine rally, because she went to, and you know this, you're an attorney, she went and brought a gun in plain sight, and Heshy's
no.
competitor was right there next to her. And
That's
this guy,
insane.
and he's on the ethics committee.
So is she.
So
Is she really? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And
And
she's
she's
not
supposed to be an
giving up her
attorney.
position.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to
Where
know.
can we find you, by the way? Where
Yeah,
can we
how
go?
do we find you? How do we call you? How do I hire you? How do we send you a
Yeah.
You
baby
spoke more
gift?
than the lawyer we usually have on here. though.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my
We
gosh.
want to come to your engagement party.
My
whatever it is.
engagement-
So
Who am I
tell
getting
the
engaged
listeners, we've got
to?
about like 90 seconds. Where can we find you in terms of contacting you in any way
Yeah,
possible?
so I'm on everything. I'm on Instagram. I'm
Nicole
just
Suissa-esque, I think, is Instagram.
Yeah, Nicole Suissa ESQ.
Facebook.
Very
Can you
simple.
spell that for me?
Suissa.
You got it. Right. ESQ as an Esquire. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. You
Facebook.
can find me on Facebook, all under the same name. It's my main
And
name.
you do a Google search. You can
How about,
can-
how about
podcast.
YouTube?
You can find me on YouTube. You'll see my TED Talk on YouTube.
And Twitter?
then
Twitter, we all like
I,
Twitter.
you know,
here.
it's funny. I actually don't do Twitter. I probably
Really?
should. Yeah, I
Oh.
never have. I never got into it.
It's
But
become a dead platform.
yeah,
honestly.
kind
No,
of.
I love
but
Twitter.
You can, yeah,
When I
if you wanna,
when I post Twitter, all the politicians and cops see it. Right away they comment and call me.
yeah. And then just call my office 732-695-3303.
Repeat that one more time.
And slow, people complain about you, Tom. You say the number too fast. I
But
like
let's
He's
hear
a New
her
Yorker.
number. I'm a Brooklyn
Yeah.
guy. What can I
So
tell
there you go. Same. So 732-695-3303. Feel free to call me.
732-695-3303.
Next week, everybody, we have less than 30 seconds. November 7th.
Get out there
Go
and
out
vote.
and vote. You can come volunteer on the HeshyTishler.com. You can come to 5318 16th Avenue next Tuesday. We need volunteers. We need people.
Just enough Heshy@gmail.com.
Just enough Heshy@gmail.com. And I want you to know, I do believe in God and pray. I know God doesn't vote in the city council. He only votes for president. But I believe that he's on my side. Nicole, you are wonderful. You're
Thank you.
delicious.
Thank
I
you for
wish
coming on.
And your daughter's
course.
name is
Sarah Rose.
Sarah.
There you
Rose.
go.
Beautiful. Tom, thank you for coming back as always. And I'm going to
We'll see you
my
next
I'm going
Thank
to
you
my
for
niece
coming back.
engagement party. Good night, everybody.
Mazel tov.
Welcome and